the Nuggets hosting the T-Wolves, where the Nuggets laying 5.5, total of 207.5, and it's the T-Wolves that actually lead this series 1-0. So, Jenks, do we expect a better performance out of the Nuggets tonight?
I think so. I think I would roll with Denver here. And this is all going to come down to how they start this game. Mike Malone's been talking about it. It's been a real issue for this team. They've got to get off to a good start and stop sleepwalking early in these games. And I think it's important when you look at a series from game to game, like what is replicable and what is not. And so, you had Nikola Jokic, who had a great game, but also turned the ball over 7 times. I don't think that happens again. But more than anything, the Timberwolves shot 71% as a team from the field in game 1 in the second half. I mean, 71% that's not doable again. That's ridiculous. You're going to beat almost everyone you play, which is why they went on that 18-7 run late in the game when the game was tied at 84 to end up winning that thing. So for me, the Nuggets, they haven't been great against the number at home this season. But now it's not necessarily a must-win game, but they need to get one back. They've got to start better. And I don't know if Minnesota shoots 71% from the field in the second half, so I'm going to lean Nuggets minus 5.5.
Yeah, and I'll add one more thing of the list that goes like things that are maybe not repeatable. You talked about the shooting in the second half for the T-Wolves. You talk about Nikola Jokic and the turnovers being really uncharacteristic of him. How about Jamal Murray not scoring a single point in the first half of last game? That feels like something that we probably will not see in this game. But maybe we're not giving the T-Wolves enough credit, because I'll say this is not only a team that has the superstar in Ant Edwards, also is a really deep team. Like, look at Naz Reid, the reigning sixth man of the year in the NBA, was huge in the fourth quarter in this game. So we saw this a little bit in their first round series for the T-Wolves. Even the nights where Kat and Anthony Edwards didn't have their monster nights, they had the bench come in and do the dirty work. So this is a really deep team. So does the number scare you here at all? Because that's the only thing that's kind of keeping me away from the Nuggets. Because I do feel like the Nuggets have a better game this time. But 5.5. Do you think this game is close? Do you think the number matters?
Yeah, I do. I will lean Nuggets, but I'm not going to bet it. The Timberwolves are really good. And this is a team that I don't quite think we've come around to understanding how dominant they can be. They could win the title. They really could. They're that good. You mentioned their depth. They're incredible defensively. Now they have this young budding superstar in Anthony Edwards. Even Mike Conley has been good. It's important to have those veteran players on your team who, don't get overwhelmed by the moment, who are important cogs in the championship piece puzzle. And so I feel like that he's one of those guys. You mentioned Naz Reid. They can beat you in different ways, and defensively, man, they are a grind. They wore down the Suns, and they forced Nikola Jokic into turning the ball over in game 1. Minnesota is very, very good, and I think maybe, to your point, if you're trying to make a case for the T-Wolves, 5.5 points is a lot. I think maybe we give Denver the benefit of the doubt a little bit because they're champions, and you think, okay, they're going to rally in this one, and they might. But Minnesota is no joke, and they're not going to go down quietly in this series, no question.
Yes, Pasternak and the Bruins there as he gets the game-winning goal in overtime of the Bruins' Game 7 victory over Toronto. That came less than 2 minutes into the overtime period. That win for the Bruins, the 4th straight time they have eliminated Toronto from the playoffs. The Maple Leafs become mulch, as I quote one Lucy Birch.
Oh.
Nominee number 2, Lionel Messi, Inter Miami.
Here's Rojas, flag down, and chips it by Coronel. Skies this ahead. Messi waits for it to come down, and he has it. Lionel Messi, 3 goal contributions already tonight. Able to play this across, make it 4. What a finish. Luis Suarez. Lionel Messi into the attack, plays it ahead. Watch Luis Suarez from the sharp angle. He strikes again. Are you kidding me?
Yes, to quote one LeBron James, not 1, not 2, not 3, 5 assists in a single half. Oh, yeah, he also scored a goal. Messi leading Miami to a 6-2 win over New York on Saturday. He becomes the first player in MLS history to have 6 points in a single contest. He also becomes the first Miami player to have 10 goals and 10 assists in a single season. And they ain't even to the halfway point of the MLS season yet. So that gives you an idea of how that's going for them. Nominee number 3, Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Here, corner 3. And Levert the rebound. What an outlet to Mitchell. Mitchell drives hard to the rim. Reverse. He banks it in. Here's Mitchell against Suggs. Gets into the paint. Had it and a foul.
Donovan Mitchell, 39 points, 9 rebounds as Cleveland rallies from 10 points down at halftime. They take Game 7 of their series against Orlando. He made 15 of 17 from the free throw line, and he played a 45 minutes out of a possible 48 in Game number 7. Finally, nominee number 4, Mystic Dan, Kentucky Derby.
Mystic Dan down toward the inside with the lead in the final 16. Forever Young. Sierra Leone is coming. These 3 coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's a photo of the Derby. Oh, it's a photo. Was it Mystic Dan or was it Sierra Leone? Forever Young was between them. Catching freedom. Finish 4th. A photo finish to decide the 150th Kentucky Derby.
And Mystic Dan would win that photo finish to win the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. Trainer Ken McPeak also won the Kentucky Oaks on Friday, becoming the first trainer to win both the Oaks and Derby since 1952. The 3-way photo finish was the first time in the Derby since 1947. They had other photo finishes, usually between 2 horses. 3-horse photo finish, first time since 1947. So, Jenks, I will turn to you. Who is your Monday MVP? One of the 4 that I've selected, or do you have one off the books?
I'm going to go Leo Messi here, which I know sounds strange because it's MLS and not many people care about Major League Soccer. But my God, 6 points in a single game is ridiculous. You don't normally see 6 goals in a game in soccer matches, and then this guy comes in with these massive expectations and just quietly is being the best player in MLS, certainly the best player on that team, and he's doing things at such a high level. You're like, yeah, well, it's MLS. Well, he's doing what he should do, right? Because when you come over and you sign with an MLS team, you have to do these sorts of things because people expect that of you, and then when you do them and you exceed those expectations, people say, you should be doing that. But let's not take this for granted. Assisting on 5 goals and scoring another, and the first player in the history of Major League Soccer to do this. I know it's MLS. Leo Messi, what a performance this weekend.
All right, so if Mystic Dan wasn't a horse, he'd probably be mad right now, and he would be a little disturbed that he didn't get MVP Monday, but again, he's a horse, and he doesn't care. But Mystic Dan has to be MVP of the weekend for me. What a finish. I understand that it's still a horse, and maybe he didn't know what was going on, but still, this is like the Super Bowl, isn't it, of horse racing? The biggest possible moment and the biggest possible race, and what a way to do it with that photo finish. So the trainers and the jockey certainly deserve some credit here to keep their foot on the gas pedal, or whatever you do with horses, keep the crop on the butt till the finish for Mystic Dan, who was 20-1. So imagine being on Mystic Dan, like bettors of Mystic Dan probably feel like the MVP of the weekend too. So I've got to give it to the winner of the Kentucky Derby. That is Mystic Dan.
Yeah, I'd like to go off book or pick somebody else. I thought about Pasternak here just because the disappointment for all the Toronto. I mean, to watch Toronto fans just, I mean, again, to see them, Jinx, you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean,
these guys,
the sheer rip your heart out. They led that game 1-0 in the third to end up getting it tied and then losing it 2 minutes into overtime. You don't even get settled in. I wanted to give it to Pasternak so bad.
the Leafs have lost 7 straight game 7s.
It's
since 92.
Unbelievable.
7, and they, failed to get to the second round for like the 7th time in 8 appearances.
Yeah.
Like they just get, not just losing, like it's right there. It's right there, and it keeps getting yanked away.
They're like Charlie Brown with the football.
Seriously.
It's so brutal.